If what you need is a yes or no answer, then in Excel you want to use the if function. But sometimes asking Excel a simple question gets a little bit more complicated than just if one thing is true, then is it true or is it false? I'll give you an example here. If I come here and type equals if, and I say 1 equals 1, if that is true, then let's have true display in that cell. And if it's not, then let's have false display in that cell. And so 1 equals 1 is true. If I come back to that cell and change this to, instead of 1 equals 1, I have 1 equals 2, then is that going to be true or false? Well, it's false. So we'll go back in here and we start asking it now a little bit more complicated question. Let's say I need to know if, let's say 3 things are true. So I'm going to type and, because I want to know if everything I'm about to ask it is everything true. So and we'll have here 1 equals 1. Is that true? And then notice that the screen tip is telling me that I have a string here of logical expressions that I can type in here. And you can type as many of these as you want to in here. So I'll have 1 is 1, 2 is 2, and comma, let's see, 3 is 3. And then I'm going to close that off with a parenthesis. And let's see, is that going to give me true or false? It's true because all 3 are true statements. But if I come in now and I'm asking it and means everything in here has to be true. So if I change this 3 to a 4 and hit enter, I'm going to get a false statement because, yes, 1 is 1 and 2 is 2. But over here, 3 is not 4. And so it's not going to give me the statement if true. It's going to give me the statement if false. Learn to read your screen tips down here because it'll tell you just exactly what to type. You'll have commas between each of your arguments. You'll have parentheses where they belong and everything. So if I have the and, which means everything inside of the parentheses is true, I'm going to display something on the screen. And if it's false, then I'm going to display something else. But what if I wanted to extend this argument? So I want to put it back to 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3. And now for my next question that I'm trying to give it, remember I've asked it and. Is everything inside of this set of parentheses true? Is it? Well, let's say that I wanted to give it an or option. So I'd have here or, and then I might have 4 equals 4. And then my next expression inside the or is, let's have 5 equals 6. Now, what is that going to give me? I'm going to have to give it one more parenthesis here to close this off. So I've got 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3. And remember that the and statement means that everything from this first parenthesis to the last one in this series of logical expressions, that everything has to be true. Well, we know that 5 does not equal 6, but see, we've given it this other criteria here that it has to be or, which means either the 4 is 4 or the 5 equals 6. So what kind of an answer am I going to get? I'll get true. It's a true statement because 1 is 1, 2 is 2, 3 is 3, and then it is also true, I can say, and either 4 is 4 or 5 is 6. That's what the or statement does. It gives us the option of having either one of these to be true. What if I made this 5 equals 5? Now, I have a case here where both 4 is 4 and 5 is 5. They're both equal. But the statement here says either of the two are either of the two true statements. And the answer, of course, is going to be true. Because, yes, one is true and the other is also true. All right, so one of the things that we have to do here is we have to learn to put the question that you're being asked sort of into and or not statements. And so I'm just going to Click out here, delete this. And so here we have a situation where we're told to go to the grocery store and get three things. We are told that we must get bread and milk and cheese. So we can just put this in English sentences and say you're going to get three things. You're going to get bread and milk and cheese. And then you're also given another requirement here that you can get either chicken or turkey. All right, so that's what we're told to do. And so what we're going to do now is try to create a function in here that will give us the answer of whether or not we've completed our shopping list. And we're going to try to put that function right here in F3. So let's say you're in your grocery store and you check off that you've got your bread, you check off that you've got your milk, you got your cheese, and you pick up some chicken. And so let's see, am I finished with my shopping list? And so I'm going to start my function right here in F. So it's going to be equals if and, because I have to get milk and bread and cheese. So I'm going to have equals and, that's A3, because I checked it off, equals that X, B3 equals that X, and C3 equals that X. Now, is all of that a true statement? It is a true statement. And I could put here that I'm good to go. Got everything on the list. But if the statement were false, then I would have to have here stop, check your list again. All right, so I'm told here the formula is that I'm good to go because the formula that I typed is if everything which is true is, does A3 equals X? Yes. B3 equals X? Yes. C3 equals X. But the challenge was not to come up with just whether I got what I must get, but I also have one more thing that I must get, don't I? I have to get either chicken or turkey. And so I'm going to come back to my formula here. And along with this and expression here, remember everything between the parentheses after and has to be true. So I'm going to come right here after the X and I'm going to type or D3 equals X and then a comma and then E3 equals X. Now, is this going to evaluate to true or not? Because notice that E3 right here does not have an X in it. It should be true because I'm told to get a check mark for A3, a check mark for B3, a check mark for C3, and then either a check mark for D3 or X3. So let's see here. Did I get both? Hit enter. Yep, I'm good to go. I've got now everything that I was told to get. But being the fearful husband that I am, that I might do something wrong, I might decide to go in here and get turkey too, just so I make sure I cover all the bases. All right, so I still get good to go. Now, how can that be? Because the function here is telling us to find out if everything is true. A3 is X, B3 is X, C3 is X, or either D3 is X or E3 is X, and is going to give me either a good to go or a stop, check your list again statement here in F3. But what I've done here is that I've given myself a wrong function or a wrong argument here, because what I've done is that I've assumed my wife won't care and I'm just going to get chicken and turkey when she told me to get chicken or turkey. And so lest I spend too much money, then here's what I want to do. I want to come back into this formula here, and where it says if and A3 is X, B3 is X, C3 is X, or D3 is X, or E3 is X, then what I want to do here, I've got to make one more statement. Now watch the logical expressions down here, because I just moved my cursor from the insertion point away from it was right here after this comma. And on one side of that comma, it highlights down here, it says, this is where the value of true goes. On the other side of that comma, it tells me that I'm still in my logical test. So right here, where I'm still working on the AND function right here, then what I'm going to do is type another comma, and I'm going to type not AND. D3 equals X and E3 equals X. And that should put me good to go, because now what I've got is I have and then yes, this is true. Yes, this is true. Yes, this is true. And then either this is true or this is true. But remember, I could type an X in both those cells, but lest I get myself in trouble for spending too much money, I need to also say, but not both. And both means and. But not both D3 is X and E3 is X. So what do you think I'll get here? Stop. Check your list again. It's giving me a false statement because I'm checking here that all of this, everything inside of this parenthesis after and, which comes all the way down to here, is everything in here true. If it were true, then it would give me good to go. But it's going to give me stop, check your list again, because I have this last statement in here that says, but not both D3 and E3. So you have to evaluate the question that you're being asked. Are you being told to get all of these and then either of these? Or you're told to get all of these and then either one of these but not both. And so learn to think about your question in an if, and, or, and then not kind of expression. And then nest all those together inside your function, your if function, so that you get the correct answer. But let's ask this question. Do I have to have both the or statement and the not statement? Wouldn't it be enough to say if A3 is X, B3 is X, and C3 is X, and then not both D3 is X and E3 is X? Would that work? Let's see. I'll come up here and just take out the or statement and let it read here. C3 is X, not and D3 is X, E3 is X. What do you think? Is that going to give me yes or no? It's going to still say stop, check your list again, but it's giving me actually the correct answer, because if I take out the X for chicken, it tells me that I'm good to go. If I take out the X for turkey, then I've got a problem. So the answer is no, you have to have both the or statement and the not statement in there to make sure that you're getting either of these, but not both, checked or unchecked either one. If you decide not to get either one, you're going to be in big trouble.